weirdly, it's gotten impersonal in that way, but it's still a social game and whatnot. But it used to win Survivor, but not much anymore.
So what you're saying is basically it's a social game, but no hard feelings.
Yeah,
I see.
and a lot of the time, like, people, as long as you're not like an evil person, if you're not a jerk to anybody, you can get by with a good enough social game. Now, obviously, making friends is still the best way to increase your odds of winning.
What's up, y'all?
But
It's Day here.
you don't have to be the best at it like you used to.
Man, y'all know we're gonna be bringing you the latest in sports.
For the show, like an antagonist in the edit. You can't be intentionally antagonistic towards other people, or it will rub people the wrong way. You gotta think about it like this: these people are not eating; they're barely sleeping. They are
The No Cap
mentally,
Podcast.
they're losing
Now
it.
let's
They're
start
away
the
from their
show.
loved ones. Emotions and tensions are so high.
Yeah.
Which
So
makes sense.
Tune into
if
Wolf
you
Sports Network
tick
throughout
off
the week to
someone
hear the
when
very
they're
best
already
new
having
WG
like
sports
a
coverage,
really
catch live
terrible
shows,
day,
score updates, and
what do you think's
breaking
gonna
news
happen?
all week long.
You're gonna
But
get voted
sometimes
off.
seeing
Absolutely.
really is believable.
So it's like you have to find that
And now you
perfect,
can watch your
that
favorite
like
Wolf
perfect
Sports Network
balance
shows
of
live
what
on
it is
YouTube.
that
Follow at Wolf Sports
of how
Network
to
on
play the
YouTube
game,
as we bring
essentially.
you into
Yes.
the studio with
Socially.
your favorite
Part of
shows and
Part of it to me is that
personalities.
honor
Wolf
doesn't
Sports
win
Network.
Survivor anymore, but
Mhm.
kindness and personability still does.
yes.
That's a really good way to put it.
That is
Yes.
a really good way to put it.
Okay.
You are
okay.
now
Okay.
listening to Wolf Sports
Hot
Network
take.
at the University of West Georgia in Carrollton.
I would
Now
rather see a
on
bitter
Odyssey
jury than a
Station.
non-bitter jury. I'm sorry.
Dishonorably discharged.
Jamia was like,
10, and I think the only reason that you might get out is because you might rub one person the wrong way, and then you're out just because of that. And it's Yade.
it's yeah.
It's Yade.
It's me.
It's
I'll
like,
tell you, if I'm voted out, it's either because I definitely could not win that challenge and there was just nothing I could do, or the fact that I'm a very readable person
well, yes.
and
Absolutely.
I can lie sometimes and I'm really good at it, and other times I'm just not. And I think people will be able to figure out when I'm lying about something. Like if I had an idol, I think they'd figure out, and I think they'd use that against me.
Wait. Hold on, because you just said that, and now I'm thinking, how many games have we played, guys? How
Too
many
many.
times?
Too
How many
many.
times have I?
Werewolf. No, here's the thing.
You suck
We
at
pla-
werewolf.
You're
You suck.
terrible.
Whenever you're the werewolf, you're found immediately.
I never got to be the werewolf.
because you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But you know what you can do? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you got
No,
you got
no, sorry. I was just channeling my inner will. I'm sorry. It just
Do it.
You're just such a personality, man.
Do it.
You have to do it. It's your time.
Mhm.
Let them know what they can do, Will.
You can listen to some more music we've got creating up for you. Thank you so much for tuning into Fourth Wall Break. It's been an amazing episode with y'all. And on go on whatever. 1, 2, 3.
Go forth.
Today's categories: top 10 2010s wide receivers. Parker, you pulled.
Did I just pull AJ Green?
What?
And we strike gold with our interviews.
This is the Philly Sports Guy.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York.
What up, guys? It's Tyrell Adams, former UWG linebacker.
And this is Sports Out of Pocket.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Sports Out of Pocket, and welcome back Hope everybody here at West Georgia had an amazing spring break. But around the table, I have the most amazing cast I can potentially do the show with. I'm Jackson Voles, and to the left of me, we have the guy making us sound amazing, Mr. Michael Miller. Michael, how's your day going, man?
It's doing great, Jackson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited because it's MLB opening day, and we have a jam-packed show for you guys talking all MLB and a little bit of March Madness because I know some people at this table, JT, had his bracket busted with his champion. And
you picked Florida.
What are we talking about?
That's a discussion for later in the show. But JT, how was your spring break, man? How's your day going?
Oh, my spring break was great. My day is going great. I got to stand up for 3 hours and give a bunch of people hugs today. I know getting near the end of the semester, people are starting to stress out about classes, so I got to be out there and be a little bit of a support for them. It was a great time.
Spreading love, that is what it's all about. And you know what I love? Parker's shirt. Parker, how's your day going, man?
It's going good, man. My national champion is still alive in the Houston Cougars, so I'm not like you guys. My bracket is not busted.
And you know, Parker, I really do love that shirt. Fear of God for the Yankees. And again, it is opening day, and your Yankees are playing today. You know what else I love? When it comes to fandom, nothing matters more than the fit. The logo you wear solidifies your love. Now you can be a Wolf Sports Network fanatic with our brand new merch store powered by Osier Apparel. Visit wolfsportsnetwork.com and click About. Michael, let's get the show kicked off.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversies.
Now, I know I said that this was going to be all about MLB and March Madness, but we do have to talk about this. Allegedly, Puka Nacua got into a little altercation and said some things, and JT, I want you to speak a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so this entire situation with Puka Nacua came out on ESPN a little bit ago, and apparently Puka Nacua made a unprovoked anti-Semitic statement and bit this lady on the shoulder. And this happened on New Year's Eve in Century City. And apparently, I can't necessarily say what his comment. It's not a very good comment. And apparently, she felt very uncomfortable about it and emotionally distressed about it because of her Jewish faith. And apparently, he also bit her friend on the thumb in the car with such force, this is quoting her, with such force that her companion screamed in acute pain. So there was a restraining order that was filed, but the request was declined. There's a hearing for April 14th. The thing that I want to talk about, though, is how this is coming up 3 months after the incident, 3 days after JSN signs the biggest contract of a wide receiver in NFL history. I'm just saying, because we've seen this happen before, where you try and file those restraining orders right after somebody gets a huge contract because you're trying to get some money out of them. And, I mean, you would think that she would have said something 3 months ago, but just now it's starting to come out now that, Puka Nacua might be getting a big contract extension because JSN just did. So I don't know.
And again, this is all allegations as of right now.
Yep.
And again, when it comes to big contract talks, you have seen those situations where it does have to do with a financial situation. Not all situations are like that. I do want to put that out there. But it's definitely an interesting situation, especially coming 3 months after when this alleged incident happened. Parker?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know much about the situation when you guys told me about it. So this is new to me, but with all this going on with NFL players off the field, I'm starting to think they're going to have to need someone to follow them around because they just love getting in trouble off the field. But with it coming 3 months after and a wide receiver just signed a huge contract, I think she's thinking Puka Nacua might have a payday coming up as well. So she's trying to get into that. So that is very sketchy on that part as far as it came up this far from it happening. So that's new to me.
Yeah, if this is true, if it turns out to be true, if Puka really did this, then we're not saying he's not at fault because, I mean, that's not something that you want to do,
right?
Making anti-Semitic comments and also biting somebody on the shoulder. No matter how it was taken, you're biting somebody on the shoulder. Obviously, they were uncomfortable with it. So obviously, Puka is in the wrong if this is true. But I think it is a little bit sketchy on the other side as well.
I could even see the comments possibly being true and this being the action being added into it because she didn't like the comments or something just to make him look that much worse. But that's just my take on it.
Well, I think the timing is definitely convenient, right? JSN signs a quarterback contract basically yesterday, and now you have this allegation come out 3 months later. a little iffy. I will say, though, this is not the first time Puka's kind of had some heat for stuff he's done off the field. I forget exactly what he did a couple months ago, but he was on like a live stream and said something stupid and got in trouble for that. And just to be honest, he's an unlikable guy. I do not like Puka Nacua at all. He's a great football player.
Did he ruin your fantasy season?
I don't really care. I'm not even talking about that.
I had him.
I really could care less about his play on the field. It's just the guy himself. Even during the games, he's just annoying. He's just an annoying human being. So, look, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. If he did it, he's obviously in the wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it just based off of who he is off the field anyway.
We've seen with a lot of these NFL players thinking that they can get a big contract and really say what they want to say, even though, they hold themselves to a higher standard, being in a celebrity bracket status. You've seen the things with Stephon Diggs. You saw what Deshaun Jackson said a few years back about also some anti-Semitic comments over there. And it's just something that needs to be stopped. And, we personally as fans can't stop it, but, something needs to be said to these NFL wide receivers and NFL players just in general. But I want to talk about another thing that's been under some heat. And this coach recently was on the hot seat, but he ended up getting fired. Hubert Davis out of North Carolina, just a few years out of being in a championship bid for North Carolina. And a lot of teammates and fans showed love to Coach Davis, showing support for his leadership, a great locker room guy. And he was told by athletic leaders beforehand, before being notified to the players, that he was being relieved of this position. But a lot of people have mixed reactions about it. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I think, it just comes down to expectation levels for different programs, right? North Carolina is a basketball school. That's what it is. Their expectation in North Carolina is you got to go deep into March every single year. That's the expectation. If you're not doing that, you're going to get moved on from. It's the same thing in Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is a really good head coach. He's a really good head coach. But Alabama fans are so delusional and so outside their mind with these expectations for what Alabama football should be that we have hot seat talk on Kalen DeBoer. Or at Ohio State with Ryan Day. I'm using football terms, but it connects. Ryan Day over at Ohio State couldn't beat Michigan. Well, he's winning every other game he's coaching. It's just the expectations that certain programs are made a certain way. And when you take the North Carolina job, you know what that expectation level is, and he's not meeting it.
That's actually a great point. I was going to follow up, and I was going to move to the NFL and say Mike Tomlin. Reminds me a lot of the Mike Tomlin situation. It's the Steelers and just that expectation of being good. And Mike Tomlin was good for a long time and didn't really even have a losing record and was making the playoffs over and over. But it was like making the playoffs for what? To be a first-round exit every year? Yeah. It was time for a change, and it was just getting stale. So I agree with the decision. You need a new face in there, and they're trying to change things up.
Yeah, and Coach Davis, 5 years there, and in his first season, like Jackson mentioned, his first season they went to the championship. But ever since that, it's been downhill. Getting knocked out in the first round to VCU when you were favored in that game, I guess that's what really put it over the edge. And like Michael and Parker mentioned, it was time to need change. You needed change. You weren't making deep runs anymore in March. And so it's time to make that change because you know what the standards are for North Carolina basketball, and you're not meeting them.
I'm glad you said that, JT, because I can even relate it to the Kalen DeBoer situation. Alabama fans, football fans, had such a high standard for so long because you had Nick Saban as your head coach, consistently winning national championships. And North Carolina had the same thing as well with Coach Roy Williams for so long. And then Hubert Davis comes in, by the way, handpicked by Roy Williams himself to succeed him as the head coach over in North Carolina. And unfortunately, they've been on a downward spiral after that 2022 season, and it's just not been the same way for controversy there in the coaching position for North Carolina. It's just a consistent thing we see throughout sports. And honestly, I'm kind of trashing North Carolina heading into the next season, depending on who they're going to hire as their next head coach, because Billy Donovan's being thrown out there, Fred Hoiberg's being thrown out there, Frank Vogel as well. And with that, let's get into cash or trash.
Josh Allen, without a number one receiver, will never win a Super Bowl.
Cash or
the Cincinnati Bengals are better off without Joe Burrow.
Trash.
And with that, we are going to start off again. It is MLB opening day here in the United States, including one city in Canada named Toronto. But MLB opening day, I want to start off with Parker Andell. What is your cash or trash relating to the MLB?
I want to preface this by saying this is absolutely zero bias, but I honestly do believe that the Yankees are still the best team in the American League, and I think they win the AL East. But my cash or trash is the Yankees are the best team in the American League.
I think they're the best team in your division. I'll give you that. I think you're the second best team in the American League. I love the Seattle Mariners. I love them so much. The offense is great. You got Cal Raleigh hitting 60 bombs a year. You got other guys in that lineup they're going to rake. And their pitching is insane. The rotation is ridiculous. The bullpen's insane. My thing with the Yankees is this. Really what it lies down with me, I trust the lineup. I think Jazz is going to have a breakout year this year in New York. Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. We all know that. And I think Ben Rice is a really good ball player as well. I think it slept on a little bit, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My thing for the Yankees is, what is the bullpen going to be? The rotation, I think, is really good. Garrett Cole's going to come back at some point this year. Obviously, he won't mess up too much time. I think in May, I believe, is when he's supposed to come back. Mm-hmm. My thing is just with the Yankees is the bullpen. And also, you play in a tough division. That's the other part of it. So it really could be that the Mariners, I think, are just set up in a situation where they're going to have a better record. And when you look at it, later in the year, it's going to be kind of tough to distinguish between who could be better between the Yankees and the Mariners, just because the Mariners have a much easier path in their division than you guys do. But I do think just on paper, you can make an argument, but I do like Seattle just a little bit more.
I want to talk about that as well, because I'm going to trash that. I do think that the Yankees are the best team in the American League East, and I'm going to second that. Because you look at the Seattle Mariners, their rotation right now is number one, in my opinion, in the American League, not in the whole MLB, because that goes to the Dodgers. Because you have guys like Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, even Bryce Miller still on the IL over there, Emerson Hancock that's going to be thrown up there. And then you look at the additions they made in the offseason. With the departure of Eugenio Suarez, they bring in Brendan Donovan at the third base position, and I'm a big Brendan Donovan fan because he used to play for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he's also a great utility guy. He's a guy who's going to give you a .285 batting average, at least maybe 20 homers, 60 RBIs, but he's a phenomenal contact guy. He's like the Gabe Worth of the Seattle Mariners. Shout out Gabe Worth from the West Georgia Wolves, but I think Seattle Mariners are going to be the top team in the AL.
My problem with the Mariners pitching is they don't always throw a lot of games near each other. I feel like each one serves a lot of time on the IL, and I just trust the Yankees lineup more than the Mariners lineup. 1-9, the Yankees have, sure, give the Dodgers the best lineup in baseball, but Yankees are up there. They had the best offense in all of Major League Baseball last year. So I think that takes us over the edge as far as the American League.
Yeah, I think, trying to put my bias aside, obviously I'm a Yankees fan as well, Parker, but I do think the Mariners are the best team in the American League. I think Yankees are definitely going to have a deep run come the postseason. I think that we make it there. But, Garrett Cole starting on the 15-day IL. And outside of that, though, our starting pitchers, great. Our bullpen is where I feel like that's where we fall apart a little bit. And, the guys there aren't top tier like the Mariners, like you guys already mentioned. I think the Mariners are definitely that top team in the American League, so I'm going to trash that take.
Now, Michael, I want to throw it to you. What is your MLB cash or trash for this week?
We're going to be staying in the American League. We're going to go to the Toronto Blue Jays, because I think their new third baseman, Kazuma Okamoto, is going to win American League Rookie of the Year. He hit 232 home runs across a 7-year career in Japan. And last year, now he did have a big injury last season that limited to only 77 games, but he still hit 322 in those 77 games. I think this is going to be a really good situation for him going to Toronto, filling in that lineup. Obviously, Bo Bichette moving on. I know he's not playing shortstop, but still an infielder right there on the corner to bolster this lineup a little bit and give them some production. So I think Okamoto is going to win AL Rookie of the Year.
I'm looking at this right now, and I think it's a much tighter race in the NL than it is the AL. You do have Kazuma Okamoto. You do have Trey Savage, who's still an AL Rookie of the Year candidate, even though only playing a little bit in the playoffs. You still have Sam Basayo, the DH over there for the Baltimore Orioles. I believe it. I like Okamoto. I think he was a star-studded person and athlete in the NPB, Nippon Professional Baseball League, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the Toronto Blue Jays. So I can cash that.
I'm trashing it, and that's because I have another name that I think is going to win it that I'm surprised Jackson didn't mention, and it's Murakami. I think Murakami comes in and rakes. I think he hits at least 25 to 30 bombs. Playing for a lackluster White Sox team, which I have no reason why he went there, maybe so he could be the star. But, you're just looking at some of these Japan numbers, and they are just insane. In the 2025, he played between two leagues, the Japan League, both two Japan leagues, and 20-plus bombs almost every single year he plays. So I think Murakami over there will have a ton of time to shine, and in my opinion, that's my pick to win the AL Rookie of the Year.
So I'm going to act like I know what I'm talking about here. Looking at Okamoto, though, like you mentioned, Michael, The dude is a dog. The dude is definitely a dog. He had that elbow injury last year, and that limited him to only 77 games. But those were some of his best games in his career at that moment. Making contact with the ball 87% of the time as well. I really like that, but obviously these guys that they're talking about as well are all talented. I think it's going to be a great race this year. You know what? I'm going to cash it just because I think the Blue Jays are a great team, and I think that Okamoto has a good shot to shine.
Now, I actually want to throw it to my cash or trash, and I'm going to go on the opposite side of Rookie of the Year. And I know you were talking about AL Rookie of the Year. By the way, honestly, I'm going to retract on that. I think Murakami wins just because the White Sox field is – I completely forgot about Munetaka Murakami. And you have guaranteed rate field that's very inwards of an outfield, and that's an easy bomb place to hit out there. But I want to talk about the NL Rookie of the Year. And I love talking about this guy so much just because I am so hyped about this guy coming into the St. Louis Cardinals organization. This is the most hype I've been about a prospect since, I would probably say, Colton Wong in 2014. And I'm talking about J.J. Weatherholt. I think J.J. Weatherholt coming in as the starting second baseman wins NL Rookie of the Year.
I'll cast it. I mean, I don't – it's just kind of up in the air. I feel like in the NL, there's a lot of guys you could choose from this year that are and there's some guys that were playing last year that are still eligible because they didn't play the full 162 that could get this year. So, I mean, it's kind of up in there. I like it though. I like Weatherholt. I like what I've heard about him, and the Cardinals have historically been good at developing middle infielders. So, good Weatherholt.
Trash, because I have another prediction who I think wins, and that's Nolan McLean. I think J.J. Weatherholt does make an impact for that Cardinals team over there. Not much to look for, so I mean he has to shine. But Connor Griffin also, I don't think, is starting the year in the major league. So depending on when he comes up, if he comes up, who knows? He's going to have a late start to the year as well. But I just think Nolan McLean, I think he's going to be a huge part of this Mets team and this rotation. And to preview later, I also think they win the division, and he certainly will be a big part of that. But just looking at the preview we had of him last year, a huge strikeout guy, even had a nice World Baseball Classic for Team USA. I think he has a lot of strikeouts. I think he pitches well. And I think he does enough to earn himself the NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with exactly what Parker just said. I'm trashing your take, not because I think that Weatherholt's a bad player. He's going to have a great season. But they tend to favor the pitchers a little bit more, and Nolan McLean is going to have an amazing season. I already know it. Great at strikeouts. He's a great bullpen guy, and I think that he has a great shot of definitely winning that NL Rookie of the Year.
I do want to throw out one more name out there. Justin Crawford, the son of Carl Crawford, was named to the Philadelphia Phillies opening day roster, and he's projected to be a DH right fielder type guy for them, and he has a lot of pop in his bat. His baseball savant is absolutely amazing that I was looking at this morning. And with that, JT, you have your cash or trash, not related to the MLB, but with what else is going on in college sports, March Madness. Take it away.
So my cash or trash, this will be a quick one to wrap it up, hopefully. It might turn into a little bit longer of a conversation. I don't think a single one seed is going to end up in the Final Four of March Madness. I think Duke is going to get eliminated before the Final Four. I think Arizona is going to get out before the Final Four. And I think Michigan is going to get out before the Final Four.
Michigan has been too much of a complete team, and I'm looking at the rest of the teams.
They're facing Alabama, who looks like a better team right now.
Alabama's been wishy-washy when it comes to the March Madness throughout the past few years, and they still have the same amount of starters from last year's team outside of Mark Sears. So honestly, I'm going to trash that take just because this is the most complete Michigan team I've seen since 2015, back when they had Nick Stauskas and guys like DJ Wilson out there. And honestly, I love this Michigan team with Ade Mara, Lundenborg, just to name a couple guys. So I'm going to trash that take.
Maybe I change this take to just national championship in general. We think? You think a one seed makes the national championship, Jackson?
Honestly, I had Florida winning the whole national championship over there.
The only one seed not in it?
But honestly, Duke was my other pick over
We'll change it to national championship. That's the new take.
I personally think Michigan goes to the national championship. I really like Duke as well. I hear a lot of Duke glaze from all these guys on Playbook. So I think Duke is good, but I think Michigan is the most complete team that I've seen in college basketball. Like he said, Lindenborg, the big man Mara, and then the point guard Elliot Cadeau. I think that they should. I'm not scared of Alabama. Now, as far as Arizona, I'm scared. Me and Michael are big on the Hogs. I think Arizona could go down. and Duke's not going to have an easy task at St. John's. But as far as matchup-wise for Michigan, I think they line up well against Alabama, and I think they should easily move past them, and they should be one of the 1 seeds to make it to the national championship. That's the only 1 seed I trust, though, out of the rest of remaining.
I was going to say the same exact thing. Because for me with Arizona, obviously, I was going to talk about how much, me and Parker love Arkansas over here. I was talking about the playbook on Monday. I think Arkansas is playing some very dangerous basketball, so I think Arizona's in a dangerous spot. St. John's I like a lot, too, so Duke could be in trouble there. I just think Michigan's too complete. I think Alabama, it's really that way for a lot of teams in the SEC. When they play their best game, they can all look unbeatable, to be honest with you. A lot of those top teams, when they play their best game, they can look unstoppable. It's just that Alabama has been up and down. I mean, we beat them this year. Okay,
yeah.
they can go out and lose some games. So I just think Michigan is just a team you got to trust. I think their path is just a little bit too workable for how talented and how good they are. And like Parker said, they've been the most well-rounded team all season.
So I want to read an ad real quick. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. That's thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive.
And now when we come back, stick with us because we're going to talk some more MLB opening day. It's not going to be luck of the draw, but a one-time special segment you don't want to miss. With that, stay tuned.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket on Wolf Sports Network.
From West Georgia to the heart of Atlanta, sports don't stop. So neither do we. This is Sports Back. Sharp takes, big highlights, and coverage to keep you locked in until the final whistle. Tune in from 6 to 7 on Mondays and Thursdays to hear what the crew has to say about your favorite team. Sports Back, only on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Tune in to Wolf Sports Network throughout the week to hear the very best in UWG sports coverage. Catch live shows, score updates, and breaking news all week long. But sometimes seeing really is believing. And now you can watch your favorite Wolf Sports Network shows live on YouTube. Follow Wolf Sports Network on YouTube as we bring you into the studio with your favorite shows and personalities. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
The Playbook is your home for West Georgia sports this spring. From University Stadium,
And we saw a very well put together offense that was trailing and going into the half, and then comes out in the third quarter and puts themselves up.
To the Coliseum.
We're finishing well at the rim, being aggressive, being physical. A lot of guys are touching the rock. It's been a great start for the Wolves.
And Cole Field.
I hope West Georgia wins. I'm going to be rooting for West Georgia tomorrow.
The Playbook, live every Monday from 9 to 10 p.m.
From the court to the diamond, Sports Pack has you covered. That's right, folks. The new semester brings an all-new season of Sports Pack, where every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, the crew will take you through everything UWG athletics. We're talking men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, and everything in between. You don't want to miss it. So be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
College students who binge drank alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project because of drinking. Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio proudly remind you to drink responsibly. Students 21 and over should drink responsibly in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty will not take hangovers as excuses.
That is absolutely right, JT. Now, as we continue the conversation about MLB opening day, we around the table have been doing a lot of MLB research, and we have our division predictions, and I'm going to start off with Michael Miller.
All right, which division you want to start off with?
We're going to start off with the American League East.
American League East, all right. This is, in my opinion, the toughest one to pick because I think you got 4 really good ball clubs in this division. The Rays are not a bad team either. It's just they're the worst by far out of those teams. I think starting off the top, number 1 who's going to win this division, I think it's the Yankees. I love the Red Sox, too. I think the Red Sox are one of the most complete teams in baseball. But, look, you're going to have Max Fried and Garrett Cole at some point, two-headed monster in that rotation. I think Cam Schlittler's going to be really good this year, be a really good 3 in there for him. Carlos Rodon is still there, obviously. But the biggest thing is the lineup. The lineup's insane. Like Parker was talking about, they were the best offense in baseball last year. I think they're going to be even better this year. I think that Jazz Sims is going to be even better. So give me the Yankees as that number 1 seed in the American League East. I think the 2 seed there, I went back and forth on it. I'm going to go Boston because I like them so much. I think I'm really high on them. I love them bringing in Ranger Suarez. They got Garrett Crochet obviously in there. They got some other good, really good pitchers in there. They did lose Alex Bregman, but I still like the lineup a lot. I think Roman Anthony's going to take another step forward this year and be even better than he was last season. And then that number 3 spot is the Toronto Blue Jays, which really I think this division is going to be all cramped together. I think really any 3 of those teams can win this division. The Blue Jays are still a very good baseball team, even with losing Bo Bichette. I just love the pitching. I love everything about them.
You see, I went earlier with no bias, but I'm going to bring my bias back a little bit. I'm going to take the New York Yankees to win the AL East. And in second place, I got the Toronto Blue Jays getting a wild card spot. And I think Boston also has a great shot. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston overtook the Blue Jays. But give me the Yankees as number 1. I think when it comes to baseball, I feel like offense matters more than defense. I know other sports you say defense wins championships. I feel like in baseball, it's a little bit more offensive than defensive when it comes to that. And I think the Yankees easily have the best bats in baseball. I think the Blue Jays are right after that in the division, and then Boston. So in that order.
We'll keep it short and simple. The Yankees are winning this division, no doubt about it. Now, as far as coming in second, I'm not scared of the Red Sox. I'm more scared of the Blue Jays, and it's because the Yankees usually struggle against the Blue Jays more than the Red Sox, and I'm scared of the Blue Jays because of one name, and that's Dylan Cease. I think Dylan Cease is a fantastic addition, and also you're adding to the lineup Okamoto over there at third base. I think that just makes that Blue Jays lineup that much more better, and you get an ace in Dylan Cease. You also will get Shane Bieber for a full year, who is also a really good pitcher. So I think the Red Sox fall off. I think Bregman was a huge loss for the offense. They did add pitching. You have Garrett Crochet. I just think this Blue Jays team is a very more well-rounded team, so I think they finish second. I think the Red Sox finish third. While the Orioles also made a lot of additions as well, they still have to prove it to me. They usually do that, and they don't do nothing in the regular season, so I'm not scared of them as far as when it comes to the AL East, but I think it does go Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles, Rays.
Now, I was really tied between the 3 and 4 spots, but I do think the New York Yankees win the American League East, and I'm looking at the number 2 spot, and it's really tough for me just because I'm looking at all the additions that the Baltimore Orioles made in the offseason. Their starting rotation is not the greatest because right now they did make the addition of Chris Bassett and Trevor Rogers. What a season he had last season. Having under a 2 ERA ever since coming off the IL and being traded over from the Miami Marlins over there in the whole Norby Stowers trade and everything with that. And I'm looking at this offense, man. Gunnar Henderson, Taylor Ward, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso was the big addition, top 3 third baseman in all the MLB in my opinion. I mean, he had a huge step up last season. But do I think that they make a playoff push? It's really, really tough. But I'm going to go Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, Blue Jays, Rays.
Putting the Blue Jays at 4th is a little bit
It's really tough for me.
Hangover from the World Series, or what are we missing here?
Bo Bichette was a big pivotal piece for that Blue Jays offense.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the Blue Jays suffer more from losing Bo Bichette or the Red Sox suffer more from losing Alex Bregman?
It's tough. It actually is tough for me because it's very equivalent because I like the addition in Caleb Durbin in Boston, and I think he's a serviceable piece that's going to give you a 275 batting average, 20 homers, just kind of like what Bregman did last season. Bregman was a little injured, and also Bo Bichette had a 320 batting average. Like, we can't excuse that. And the Orioles made so many additions, but it's really close for me. But I got Yankees over there. Now let's switch it over to the American League Central. Parker.
I think this is the Tigers' division to lose, simply. I think the Tigers have the best pitcher in baseball. Their lineup's coming around. They also made a few additions. I think it's simple that the Tigers win this division easily. But I'll say, I know a lot of you guys are high on these Rangers and – I'm skipped to AOS. High on the Guardians. But I think the Royals sneak up and get the second spot in that division to make the playoffs. I think the Wall getting moved in a few feet makes a huge difference. I think Bobby Witt has a breakout year. Not enough to win MVP, but he'll be close. I think Vinny Pasquantino hits a lot of bombs. And you also have Cole Reagans, who will be competing for an AL Cy Young. So
Maikel Garcia
also just took over in this World Baseball Classic and won MVP. So I am super high on the Royals, and I think they make it competitive, but I think this is simply the Tigers' division to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Parker, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, and I do think I'm perfectly on board with you as well with the Royals being a sneaky team to take that second spot in the AL Central and sneak into the postseason over the Guardians. But, I mean, when we're talking about who's winning that division, there's no doubt in my mind that the Tigers are going to win that division. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The Tigers are clearly the number one team in this division. They're a World Series contender. Just simply put, obviously Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in the game of baseball. You bring in Framber Valdez to go with him up in that rotation. You've also got Jack Flaherty as well there and some other guys. And then lineup-wise, a lot. I mean, and it's definitely the weaker part of their team, but it's still good. It's a really good lineup still. Kerry Carpenter's a dog. Riley Green could win an MVP. Riley Green's a really, really good player. I think if he stayed healthy a full season, play well, I think he could. He can be sneaky. Spencer Torkelson's a really good ball player as well when he's playing well. I just like the Tigers a lot. It's very clearly number one team there. I'm going Cleveland number two. I can't ignore what they've done. I think Stephen Vogt's a great manager. I think he's doing great stuff over there. And I think on paper the Royals should be the second team in this division. But look, you look at the pitching staff for Cleveland. It's the thing about the Cleveland is this: it's very boring. There's not a lot of flash on this team at all. You got Jose Ramirez. That's where where the flash ends. But they're just good ball players. Stephen Kwan is really good as well. I'm not going to go against Cleveland until I've seen a reason that they should be falling off, and then I'll go Kansas City in 3 because of everything these two guys said about how good they are as well.
Now I'm looking at these top 3 here. Obviously, the Detroit Tigers are the number one spot because they also made the addition of Framber Valdez. And if you have that 1-2 punch in Skubal and Valdez, that cannot be stopped in the American League Central. Now it's come between these two because the Royals had such an injury-prone rotation last season with Cole Reagans being out for majority of the season. How would I know? He was on my fantasy team. You also bring in a guy like Noah Cameron, who's going to be a sneaky pitcher on everybody's fantasy teams all season. And then you have Seth Lugo as well. I think when it comes to batting lineup-wise, because the Guardians don't have the greatest rotation, all they really have is Tanner Bybee, and that's really not much. But I'm going to go the Royals at the 2 and Guardians at the 3. Now we shift over to the American League West, Michael.
Yeah, this division to me is one juggernaut and then a bunch of just kind of whatever after that. It's the Seattle Mariners winning this division. I don't think it's competitive at all. I think they win by a landslide. I think the Athletics finish second, though, in this division. I like what they're doing a lot. And if you look at if you go on Picado, which is a projection website, I was trying to figure out earlier with Parker. Look at them; they're very low on the Athletics. I'm high on them. I think they're be a good baseball team this year. I don't think they make the postseason though, because I only think the AL West is going to get one team. That's going to be Seattle. I'm going to pick them number 2 though, because I just don't like the Astros at all. The more and more I look at the Astros roster, I do not like what I'm looking at all. A lot of them are washed. They've lost a lot of good pieces. Obviously, Kyle Tucker was gone 2 years ago. They're falling off this cliff. They keep going further and further. Give me the Athletics to finish second above Houston, but I don't think anybody makes the postseason outside of the Mariners in this division.
Now I want to talk about this division because Athletics are number 4 for me, and here's why. They have no pitching. They have Luis Severino, who's mediocre at best. They have no pitching. They have amazing bats. Don't get me wrong. It's like a Nationals type adjacent over there because Nationals have a great lineup. They have no pitching. And, you look at that bullpen over there, also no pitching in the bullpen. But I'm going to go Seattle at 1. I think the Texas Rangers sneak into a wild card spot at number 2 because, honestly, they have a top 3 rotation in that American League with Leiter, Rocker, Gore, Eovaldi, DeGrom. And that is absolutely phenomenal for them. And then you look at Seager. You have the addition of Seager over there, or you still have Seager over there. You have Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford. Sneaking over there. I think Astros get the 3, Athletics 4, and yeah, that's what I got.
That's a good take, Jackson. I mean, you literally said actually everything I was going to say as well. I'm high on the Athletics as well. Shout out to my boy Josh Maltov, and he's also high on the Athletics with this lineup. But like you said, just simply no pitching. I mean, no pitching at all, and that's what's going to carry you in this long, dreaded 162-game season. So I'll take the Rangers coming in at the 2 spot with a loaded rotation led by DeGrom and Gore and Eovaldi, and a great lineup led by Wyatt Langford. So I think the Mariners easy win this division, but I do have the Rangers coming in second.
Yeah, the Mariners clear-cut number 1 in the AL West, and I think that even adding in Brendan Donovan to a team that's already been amazing on the offensive side and already been a beast on the defensive side, there's no doubt in my mind the Mariners get it. Jackson, I agree 100% with your rankings of it, I think that is just going to go in that order like you mentioned. But I like Michael mentioned as well, I think that there's no other team that makes the postseason outside of the Mariners in that division.
Now we're going to go with the quickest division, the NL West, Parker.
NL West, like you said, quickest division. We'll just start off with the Dodgers. It's going to be a runaway, clear-cut Dodgers. Now, as far as who's giving them the run for their money in second, I like the Padres. I think the Padres are going to do well. I don't think the hype with Tony Vitello over there at the Giants is going to do anything. He's going to start off 0-1 to start the 2026 season, actually. I might as well add. So I think the Diamondbacks are an interesting team. So, I mean, not to get into too much about that, but I'll just go Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks.
I'm going to have to agree with I think that the Dodgers are obviously the number one. I think the Padres are a good second team that might sneak into a wild card spot. But no doubt in my mind, the Dodgers are 100% that number one team.
Yeah, LA's winning the division. No, there's no doubt about that. But I think, like the AL West for me, I don't think anybody else in that division makes the postseason outside of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Padres.
I don't think they do. I think they finished second. They're not making the postseason.
I got Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies. It's a quick one for me, honestly. It's a toss-up between Padres and Giants, but it's really close there. Now I want to shift over to the NL Central. I'm going to start off with myself. I think the Cardinals are at the number one spot. No, they're going to finish dead last, number 5. I love J.J. Weatherholt, but that's all I have really to look forward to this season. But I hate to say it, the Chicago Cubs made some good additions in the offseason. Bringing over Edward Cabrera to bolster their starting rotation. Let's go Cubs, Brewers, Pirates, Reds, Cardinals.
Brewers have an amazing pitching staff, and like we mentioned time and time again, I think that's what carries them. So I think Brewers win this division. Cubs make it tight race in the end of the season. And so I'll just go Brewers, Cubs.
I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to say Cubs, Brewers, but I think that both of those teams make a run for the postseason very clearly. Like Michael mentioned, I think that the Dodgers are going to be the only team that makes the postseason out of that division. I think these two make it, and then I think there's 3 teams out of the East that make it.
Yeah, I think this is tough for me because I love the Cubs a lot. I love the additions they made. I just love the lineup they've got. But I got to go with the Brewers. I love the pitching staff, and I'm just going to lean on them. Give me the Brewers in the 1. Give me the Cubs in the 2. I think they both make the postseason, and nobody else in that division gets in.
Now, very quick, a really tough division to decipher, the NL East. I'm going to start off with myself, who's a non-NL East fan. But I'm going to go Phillies, Mets, Braves, Marlins, Nationals. Michael, as a Braves fan?
Yeah, I got the Phillies in the 1. I got the Mets in the 2. I think that's going to come down to the very end of the season, 1 or 2 game separation. I think the Braves are in the 3, and I think all 3 of them make the postseason.
I agree. You guys are just hitting all the points. I think that it's a toss-up between those top 2 teams. I think the Braves are the number 3, and I think that they sneak in to that last spot in the postseason.
National League East is loaded with 2 powerhouses. Mets, I think, finally made enough additions this offseason to put them over the hump. I think they win the division. Phillies come in second. Braves come in third, but miss the playoffs with all these injuries. And then I think it goes Marlins, Nationals.
So you're kind of trashing and not putting all your chips in on the Braves to make the playoffs, right?
Trash the Braves.
And with that, let's get into the lottery.
Surely I'll have some better luck this time. Hey, how's it going? I'll take 1 lottery ticket. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just won the lottery.
Now, this is the lottery. If you guys don't know how this works, we pick a team, player, or coach we are extremely high and low on to put our chips in for this upcoming week. And I want to continue with this MLB talk about the MLB playoffs. And honestly, I'm very low on the Braves making the playoffs, and here's why. There's a lot of injury concerns. Obviously, Strider's out for a good bit. Schwellenbach's out for a good bit. A.J. Smith-Shawver is still out for a good bit. Ronaldo Lopez is coming back, but who knows if he's going to return to his 2024 form. You still have Chris Sale, and then you look at this lineup up and down. You have Profar on the suspended list. You have Ha-Seong Kim out for a good minute. And, you still have Acuna, but he's also injury-prone. So I'm low on that. But honestly, I want to throw out my playoffs right now. I think it goes I think the Mets and the Phillies both make the playoffs. I think the Cubs and the Brewers both make the playoffs out the NL Central. And I think the Padres and the Dodgers make the playoffs. So I think it's going to be 2 from each division.
I love that. That's actually perfect, exactly what I think. But I kind of want to shift over to what I'm high on. I'm high on Ben Rice this year. I know my boy Michael Miller over there was talking about him. But let's just look into some stats from last year. He played in 138 games, kind of a big sample size there, but he hit 255. And I don't know exactly what his expected batting average was, but he was deemed one of the most unluckiest hitters in baseball just because of how hard he hit the ball, and there was a lot of unlucky outs. So I think we're due for a breakout year from Ben Rice. 26 bombs in 138 games last year is pretty good. So, hot take, I think Ben Rice goes for 30 bombs this year. He'll be the starting first baseman. Paul Goldschmidt, come back on a one-year deal, kind of learn from him to play the position over there. He'll even catch some games when Austin Wells takes a break. So, I think Ben Rice, we're due for a huge year, 30 home run year. Book it.
I sure hope so. He's on my fantasy team. But I'm going to start with the team that I'm low on, or the staff that I'm low on, and it's the Braves athletic training staff. I mean, looking at the Braves before all these injuries started coming up, they look like they could be up there competing with the Mets and the Phillies. But now you're looking at it, and you got two of your top players that are starting on the IL to start the season, and you're going to have to win some of those games at the beginning of the season. You don't want to start 0-15 and then try and work your way to making a playoff spot. It's just not going to work like that, or else you'll have a thing where it's 2-2-2 from each division making the postseason. I think the Braves have a good shot at being that third team, but you got to stay healthy if you want to make a shot like that.
I'll say too, just to jump on here. The guy that I'm high on, I'll get into in a second, but it leads into it. The reason why I have the Braves sneaking in as that sixth spot in the postseason is due to Jackson probably thinks it's biased for me coming in there. It's really not. The reason why I've got it is the question for me is the rotation because of all the injuries. That's gonna be the biggest problem with this team. But I'm high on Didier Fuentes because he made the opening day roster. He's going to start in the bullpen. At some point, he's going to move into that rotation. He's going to have to. If he can try and carry this load a little bit until Spencer Strider comes back, and I know assuming if Spencer, I don't need him to be the old Spencer Strider, but if he can be a serviceable starting pitcher, our bullpen's nasty. I love our bullpen with a passion. I love this lineup. Austin Riley, look, the only question that you could really have for me in terms of guys who've had down years is really Austin Riley, just because he hasn't had a good
Michael
season
Harris.
Michael Harris is done. I'm not focused on that. Michael Harris is he is really all he's supposed to be is go out there, play great defense, and be a league average hitter. That's all I'm trying to get out of him. Ozzie Albies is going to be a league average hitter as well. Mike Yastrzemski, I think Mike Yastrzemski is going to be above league average this year. The way he's been tearing the ball, I'm excited about that. The lineup is really not something I'm that concerned about because I think Austin will be back to normal. As long as Austin's healthy, he's going to be Austin Riley. I'm not really worried about that. And I think you can live with Ha-Sung Kim and Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies just being league average hitters if you have those other guys playing the role they're supposed to be. Ronald Acuna playing full season. I love the lineup. I love the bullpen. It's just the rotation. And if Didier Fuentes, if J.R. Ritchie comes up later and kind of save this rotation a little bit, not that it's going to be a great rotation. It's not. It's going to be a lot of mixing and matching. But you still got Chris Sale at the top of it. And if J.R. Ritchie and Didier Fuentes come in there, Grant Holmes is a solid anchor in there. But the biggest question, too, is going to be Ronaldo Lopez if he can actually get back to what he's supposed to be because he wasn't touching 90 with his fastball earlier this week. So that's one concern there.
Honestly, I'm looking at this NL East, and the Braves, yes, they do have a lot of injury concerns, but when healthy, they are a playoff team. And just outside the injury concerns, I do have them out the playoffs just due to the injury concerns. If they had a fully healthy team, that's a 4 seed, a 3 seed right now for the Atlanta Braves. And, again, suspensions, injuries, that's all the Atlanta Braves are known for right now, and that's something that cannot be allowed. But I want to kind of shift over to the AL for a little bit of playoffs type thing. And I got Yankees, Red Sox. I have the I have the Detroit Tigers being the only team coming out of the AL Central. I have the AL West, and I have the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers over there. And just because the Texas Rangers have a phenomenal bullpen, they have a great starting rotation. And as Dom Murgo, the pitching coach, says, it doesn't matter about a back-end rotation. If you have a great bullpen that can carry you through the 6 to 9 innings, then, yeah, you'll have a successful team. And honestly, their bats are hot. They have Wyatt Langford. They have Evan Carter. They have Jock Peterson, who I believe is going to have a resurgent season. And you still have Corey Seager. You bring in a veteran guy like Andrew McCutchen, not saying he's going to do much, but Andrew McCutchen's being thrown in there for a locker room boost. And I like the Rangers over there. I think there's going to be a 3 seed when it comes to the AL East, and I'm going to give that to the Baltimore Orioles for a 6 seed.
You talk about pitching. Everybody needs arms, Jackson. And what I'm low on is the Yankees optioning Luis Hill to start at AAA to begin the season. And we're going to roll with a 4-man rotation, which I don't mind because of how the schedule lays out. We'll Fried will get an extra day of rest before his next start. But I just don't understand this in a rotation where you need an extra arm. And Luis Hill is proven. Now, does he struggle with walks? Yes. But he's proven to be like Michael says, a serviceable pitcher in the MLB. He struggles with walks, but if he gives you 5 innings of 2 or 3 run ball, and we're expecting the Yankees to have one of the best lineups in baseball, that's not a bad outing. So I really don't understand this, leaving Luis Hill in the minors to start the year, and we're going to roll with a 4-man rotation. Hopefully Ryan Weathers will be able to carry a decent amount. And, him and Jason Dominguez, I just don't understand. Those are questionable.
Yeah, very questionable. I like Dominguez, and I like Hill. I don't know why they got him starting in AAA, especially with a short bullpen already, short rotation. I like having Fried get that extra day or two of rest between games. But when you're already short-staffed and Luis Hill is out there, I don't see a reason why you leave him there in AAA. You bring him right back up to the MLB, let him be that 5th guy in your rotation, and you run from there. Because, I mean, like you mentioned, if he gives you a 4 or 5 inning outing and only giving up like 2 or 3 runs, you have some of the best bats in baseball. They're going to put up 4 or 5. They're going to put up more runs than you give up in those 5 innings. So I don't like the move for the Yankees organization. I think they need to bring him right back up and have that 5-man rotation.
Even come out of the bullpen, JT. You don't even have to be a starter. You can ease him back in, get some free innings out of the bullpen, get his feet back under him until he's ready for a starter role again.
Exactly.
Now, we have a little bit time left in this segment, and I want to go around the table and give our Cy Young picks.
What division you want to start with?
Just do both. Give your both. Just quick picks.
How do I go across from – it's going to be a tight race between Crochet and Scooble, and I just don't know how Scooble doesn't win it. So I'll take Scooble in the AL, and NL, I'm going Paul Skeens. I feel like these are both the most basic answers, but those are my picks for this year.
Yeah, I think those are the best 2 pitchers in baseball, no doubt in my mind. I think Scooble easily for the AL, and I think that Paul Skeens easily for the NL. I think Paul Skeens has it a lot more easy than Scooble does, though, because, like you mentioned, Garrett Crochet is also there. You got Fried over there. I think that these are guys that could definitely challenge Scooble at the top, but I think that Scooble is just the best pitcher in baseball in general, and I think that he gets it.
Give me Skeens in the NL. That's a pretty obvious one.
Now you're saying that like you're not going to have the most obvious pick in baseball here in the AL.
Now in the AL. Give me my old friend, my buddy Max Fried. I think he's going to go off this year. He's going to get it done. Had a really good season last year. He's going to be even more comfortable in New York this year. Give me Max Fried in the AL.
Honestly, I'm not a guy who picks the easy answers here at Wolf Sports Network. I'm going to second that with Max Fried. He's actually my way too early Cy Young pick. 19-5 record last season for Max Fried, and I think he continues that momentum. He's been at the top of the standings each time in the NL, in the AL, and I think he's due for one, and I believe in Max Fried. Here comes my NL Cy Young, and a lot of people are going to have mixed reactions about this, but I think that Logan Webb wins the NL Cy Young out of the National League. I love Paul Skeens, but he's not – with the addition of run support there, but he has a lot tougher competition to play in the National League Central that he's going to continue playing over there, and he struggled against NL Central teams throughout his career. But Logan Webb, I think he's also a guy who's been at the top of the standings for so long in Cy Young races, and he's also due for one. I'm not a guy who picks easy. But give me Logan Webb. Logan Webb and Max Fried. Lock it in.
I'm agreeing with you on the Max Fried take. I think that he's going to be up there. I don't think Logan Webb deserves a chance against Paul Skeens. But I will let you know that in a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That's why Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you there's no drinking under the age of 21. Never drink and drive, even if it's one alcoholic drink, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits.
You know what I love to do when I'm drinking responsibly, JT?
What do you do?
I love to read, all right? Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. That's thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive.
And you know what I love to read, Michael Miller? A lot of Sports Illustrated articles when it comes to the MLB. And with that, before we get into fired up about our MLB teams heading into opening day, we're going to show some more love to the station, the other shows. But when we come back, You're going to want to stay tuned for our MLB opening day special. Fire me up. Stick with us.
This is JT, and as Marv Levy once said,
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
and we are Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, do you like what you're listening to? Well, why don't you support our station by checking out our merch store?
Hoodies, shirts, and hats can be purchased on our website powered by Osier Apparel.
You can also DM us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network if you would like to recommend any more options.
Go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click About to view our merch store. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Hey, you!
Who, me?
Yeah, you! Do you like talking about sports?
.com. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? Wii Sports? Let's try something. Let me tell y'all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all of college football, basketball, and baseball. Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. The Playbook on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports Pack is here for you, providing all the West Georgia sports content you need to stay in the game. Tune in to Wolf Sports Network every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. so you never miss a beat as the crew takes you through the wild world of UWG sports, while also keeping you updated with your local Atlanta teams as well. Don't miss out. Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio presents Wolfstock 2026. Come enjoy live music, food, games, and more on Thursday, April 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom. You do not want to miss on the biggest concert of the year. Wolfstock 2026 is brought to you by Monster Energy, Westwoods Apartments, Dine West, Flagship Carrollton, Illuminated Productions, and Osier Apparel.
It's time to get heated with Fire Me Up.
And that is right. We're about to get fired up about MLB opening day and this opening season here in 2026. And I want to start with myself. There is nothing to be excited about as a St. Louis Cardinals fan. We bring up the number 5 prospect in the entire MLB and Mr. J.J. Weatherholt. Glad to have him on the team, but who do we have? Nobody. We got rid of Nolan Arenado. We got rid of Brendan Donovan, who was a top 3 second baseman and utility guy in the entire MLB. For what? Ty Pete, and that guy's name I cannot pronounce, but he's a switch pitcher, and he's not even going to be a switch pitcher. He's going to be a right-handed pitcher. So what's the point in bringing him into the rotation when he's a guy who's a double-A guy who gives, a 4.30 ERA over there? And honestly, I love Alec Burleson. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the entire MLB, and I'm just not excited about this Cardinals team. This rotation is terrible. We have Matthew Liberatore being our ace, and as a Cardinals fan, I would not be excited for that. But if you live in the St. Louis area, you can go to Busch Stadium and get $29 concessions. That sounds great, Michael, right?
That's a good deal for Cardinals fans there. And look, Jason, your team's not going to be good this year, no, but look. I went through a 4-year rebuild back when I was younger, and guess what? Opening day was my favorite day because that was the only day the Braves were going to be undefeated on for that 4-year stretch of games. So enjoy Thursday or Friday, whenever you play. Do you play tomorrow? Is that your first game, or is it going Friday?
He doesn't even know.
Friday.
I'll get fired up about a team that's going to be good this year and is going to win the division, and that's the New York Yankees, baby. Opening up tonight against Logan Webb. Starting lineup, we got Trent Grisham leading off, Aaron Judge hitting second, Cody Bellinger hitting third, also former MVP. Ben Rice, the breakout star, hitting 4th. Stanton, also another MVP, hitting 5th.
He hasn't been an MVP since 2017.
He still looks great, and he mashes.
He hasn't played a full season since 2017.
You're a Cardinals fan. All right, so next up, then we got Jazz Chisholm, who Michael Miller's high on, and if Michael Miller's high on somebody, I'm high on him too. So then next up, we got Jose Caballero. Oh, my goodness, how excited I am that I don't have to see Anthony Volpe play shortstop. It looks like Jackson Voles out there trying to give it a try. All right, next we'll go Ryan McMahon, who I'm very excited on too. plays such good defense that he doesn't even have to worry about his bat, but I think he'll be much better offensively this year. And then rounding out the bottom, Austin Wells catching. Wow, I'm so excited for opening day, and I cannot contain my excitement, as you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that entire lineup, and we have some of the best bats in baseball, there's not a single guy in that rotation that I think I would not want to watch hit a baseball off of Logan Webb. And Aaron Judge, I mean, he's 3 for 7 in his career against Logan Webb. 2 of those were home runs, by the way. So I think that Aaron Judge is going to be a beast in opening day. I think he possibly gets 2 shots tonight, tonight on Netflix. Shout out Netflix for some reason. I don't know why they're doing it on Netflix, but shout out that. But I cannot agree with you. I do not like Anthony Volpe. I'm glad that he's not coming back till May. I hope that he stays out of the lineup. I don't know. I'm going to rant on too long. We don't got much time. Michael, go for it.
Very quick, Michael, before you get into your injuries, I want to say one thing to the Cardinals general manager, Mr. Chaim Bloom. You don't bring up a guy in the outfield who hit 412 in spring training, 4 homers, 14 RBIs, and he's sent down to AAA, Mr. Nelson Velasquez. He deserves an outfield spot. I hate it. Anyways, give your rant.
Yeah, I'm in a really weird situation this year, kind of unique, because like I mentioned, when I was younger, the Braves were really, really good. So I went into the season thinking this team can win the division, we can win a World Series. Then we went through some stretches where we were in a rebuild. You know you're going to suck. So you just try to enjoy opening day and just try and look forward to prospects, watching Freddie Freeman play. That's what it was. And then I've gotten used to just being one of the best teams in baseball. We've been a top 5 team in the league for the last 7 years up until the last 2 seasons. And now I really don't know what to think because I look at this roster, and obviously we have all the injury problems. Excluding the injuries, I think this team can still win 90 games if guys play well where they need to play well and the lineup gets back to normal. That could happen. We could also win 70. We could be at the 4th place team in this division. The Marlins could pass us if we play bad too. So
you mean the Nationals?
No, not the Nationals. Not the Nationals. That ain't gonna happen. No, that ain't gonna happen. But I do think that this is a really interesting season for me. Really weird because I'm going into it with the idea of like this team could be really good, could be a contender, or we could be bad. My biggest thing though, I'm just looking forward to seeing my favorite player, Austin Riley, play a full season of baseball. I love Austin. Want him to get back to normal. I would love to see Ozzie be good as well. I don't want to move on from Ozzie because I got my sentimental attachment to Ozzie always for as long as he's been here. I want him to be good. But look, if he doesn't hit this year, he's got to go. We got to move on if he's not going to hit. Michael Harris is just kind of stuck with at this point, so you just got to deal with it. It is what it is with him. Hopefully he can get back. He hit a lot better at the end of the year. He really turned it on at the end of that season. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to Sean Murphy as well. He's been bad the last couple of years. That hasn't been the same since the first half of 2023. That's something to look forward to. And also Mike Yastrzemski, NL MVP.
That is a stretch and a little bit of delusion from the Braves fan, Michael Miller. But there's a lot to look forward to for the MLB season. As a Braves fan, as a Cardinals fan, not, but maybe as a Yankees fan.
Let's go.
But that will be all the time we have for today for Sports Out of Pocket. Make sure to tune into the next episode of Wolves on Deck as we bring back on Mr. Dom Murgo and Lex Kenny. Me and Parker will be doing that interview soon. And stay tuned on Instagram because our next on the road, Mr. Colton Griffin from the UWG basketball team, but from JT Groves, Parker Andell, Michael Miller, and thank you to Mr. Orlando Odom for running our TriCaster today. Shout out to him. This has been Sports Out of Pocket. We will see y'all next week.